perfection. Freshly picked ingredients, tantalizing flavors, sweet and sour intertwine and dance into your glass. One-of-a-kind arrangements, hitting every note. Why wait for the weekend? It's on at the grill.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. They can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/act now.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, congratulations to all of North Mississippi. We have finally made it back to Friday, and it's been a warm week to get here, but thankfully we're still gonna try to push these way through these areas. You can see around, excuse me, I'm struggling right now, but I'm meteorologist Caleb Letterblute here in the Room to Room Weather Center. Of course, Chief Meteorologist Matt will be out live in Hatley, but we do have a warmer weekend ahead. It will still be a struggle as we continue into the weekend. We've had these below average temperatures a few weeks ago, and they've kind of spoiled us, promising that false fall, but those summer temperatures still trying to give us a last push before we finally make it to fall. And as mentioned earlier, Matt will be live from Hatley, our game of the week this Friday night, with those Friday night football forecasts coming at you during this broadcast. And then also, of course, those dry conditions will continue not only into the weekend, but the coming days ahead. We're going to continue tracking all of that out here in the Room to Room Center here in Mississippi Live Weather. But taking a look out of our camera out here, and Amory still playing that game of finding where Matt and them are for our game of the week. Hatley is out this way. This is our camera out in Amory showing 91 degrees, feels like 91. So those heat indices still not really playing a role just because of how dry we've been, especially once that cold front came through last week. But a big thanks to the North Mississippi Storm Chasers providing us with these cameras. And of course, like I mentioned, those heat indices haven't been playing a role because of that cold front last weekend when we had storms. Right now we're looking hot and sunny. So what are those conditions looking like right now, Matt?
Well, I think you kind of nailed it. Hot and sunny out here in Hatley this evening. I'm at our Game of the Week location involving Hatley and Mantachie. Of course, it is homecoming for the folks here in Hatley, so everyone kind of getting ready for that. Certainly is one of the hotter games that we've had so far this year, but as you mentioned, absolutely. While hot, it is not extreme as far as that heat index is concerned. It's very manageable with heat indices coming at about the same as the temperatures. And what that means is the body's cooling system, the way it works naturally, works in this situation. So when you sweat, that sweat helps you to, well, I guess cool yourself down. So, of course, some of the teams getting out here doing a little bit of their walkthrough as we get ready for the game within the next, well, golly, we're right under 2 hours for kickoff tonight. And so it's not just at this location here where we have the game of the week, of course, between Mantachie and Hatley, but all locations, of course, the heat is the story. Now, the rain chance is not zero, but it's just not particularly high. Thankfully, and for the game's purposes, that will work out. But as you'll note here, these kind of clear skies that we have, something that, of course, is going to bring a lot of sunshine and, well, honestly, continued enhanced drought conditions going forward. Caleb, that's one of the things, of course, you're looking at in more detail as we go back to the Room Weather Center, is that dry weather forecast and how long this lasts, and really, maybe more importantly, how much those temperatures build, because we do expect, obviously, building temperatures into this upcoming weekend. Just how far they go, Caleb, I know you've got a handle on that.
Exactly. Well, big thank you to Matt for giving us those live conditions out there in Hatley. We are still staying dry. We do have a 10% for around 6 o'clock into 9 o'clock. Those are more rainy conditions out west in the Delta. And I know, like Matt mentioned with that drought monitor, really need that rainfall, especially as we're entering and still experiencing that dry season. But we will continue to stay dry as we continue into those AM hours, especially midnight and on. We are staying dry. But those temperatures slowly pushing their way back into the 70s, mid 70s around 9 o'clock, low 70s by midnight. Then we're finally back in those 60s by the time we're getting ready for our Saturday morning commute. But taking a look out at the Mississippi Live weather radar, we can see some of those spotty showers. Just one right here out just outside of Boonville. And there we go. Some showers affecting those in the Delta, but pretty much most of North Mississippi is going to continue to stay dry into our evening. And that's just going to be the trend that we see into the coming days as well. But taking a look at Futurecast, this one's kind of being a little more over aggressive, but you can see most of those rain chances will stay out west, out in the Delta, while most of North Mississippi will continue to stay dry. This is at 6:30, so within the next hour or two. And those showers are going to continue to push just kind of south into our viewing area pretty much for the rest of our evening as we're continuing our Friday night football games. But like I mentioned earlier, by the time we reach midnight and get into those early AM hours, we are seeing dry conditions. We're also seeing clear conditions until that cloud cover really starts building back in for our Saturday morning commute. You can see that high pressure out here. That is pretty much responsible for that weather we've been having, allowing us to continue to stay pretty much warm and dry. And we can track that out here with the next 24 hours, showing not really many rain chances. Of course, we're kind of going back to that summer, almost cyclical pop-up shower. So maybe a lucky few can see some of those rain showers tomorrow, but for the most part, we will continue to stay dry, starting off in the mid 60s around 6 in the morning, and then we will push into the upper 80s and then 90s by the time we get into the peak heating hours of the day in the afternoon, 91 around 3 o'clock. But by the time we get to 6, we will start cooling off and returning to those pretty much clear conditions as we continue into the rest of our Saturday. Now, of course, I'm going to continue updating these values and giving you all the latest on when could we expect some of those rain chances, when could they pop up, and where, coming up here in 1 minute.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
You may see a teen struggling to find his way. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we see a teen gaining the confidence and skills to land his first job. Kids today need people to see their potential and help them achieve it. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we do whatever it takes to help kids succeed. Because when we see young people, we see limitless possibilities. Do you? Join us, Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us for Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut here in the Room to Room Weather Center, and we are looking at a live shot out at our Oxford Skycam, just showing some pretty taller clouds in our atmosphere, but that sun rays starting to hit it, starting to show some sunset and adding those pink and orange colors. So we don't have much going on in our atmosphere, but when we start getting those clouds, we can see some beautiful sunsets. Y'all gotta submit these pictures, especially since we don't have anything going on. Sunsets will be the most activity we can see across North Mississippi, but 90 degrees feels like 90, so beautiful conditions out there in Oxford. Taking a look out here in Starkville, showing another area where y'all are gonna have a home games, both Oxford and Starkville hosting for their SEC football games. 90 degrees, feels like 90, pretty much a copy and paste. And there we go, that northerly wind, allowing those feels like values not really to jump up much, so we can still stay cool and not really jump up from those actual temperatures. But taking a look at the Friday night forecast high school game of the week presented by Casey Lott. You can see we're starting off with some rain chances by pregame, and that depends on where you are. Like I mentioned earlier, it'll be more out west where you could see those rain chances, and those are going to continue pretty much throughout the entire game time hours, around halftime, approaching the upper 70s, and then by the time we're wrapping up the final snap and heading home, we could see those low 70s, hopefully maybe some upper 60s if we can get that process rolling. But like I mentioned, Matt is out live at Hatley right now, not really seeing those rain chances. What can you have going on for?
Yeah, I mean, no rain chances out here right now. Everybody's asking about that. And of course, being that it's homecoming, there's a lot of beautiful dresses that want to stay nice and dry. And luckily, as you can see, Mother Nature probably hopefully helping out for that. Of course, we are at our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott. And appreciate, of course, that partnership we have with the Langston Lott Group up there out of Boonville, of course, covering North Mississippi. And, we just appreciate them for supporting us here. Talking about this game, of course, Manatachee coming to the town. And it is, to a certain extent, fairly evenly matched. I think the home crowd here in Hatley feels like they've got a really good chance at winning this, especially because of the way the defense has played so far. this year. But speaking of those two schools, one of the big competitions off of the field, of course, Band and Spirit Squad of the Week. At this point, Mantachie leading the home squad in both of those cases. We'll have to see, of course, final vote on that will end up being at the conclusion of our 6 o'clock broadcast. And you'll be able to see those Band and Cheerleaders of the Week and all that coming up here on Mississippi Live at 10 o'clock this evening. Also along those lines, of course, our meteorologist Gabe Maynard will be out here helping us with some of those highlights as well. We'd love to showcase those and appreciate everybody for all the votes they've given us on social media related to that. Of course, this is not the only high school game going on, quite a few around the region, and another in-county rivalry, something that our Will Kohlmeyer is checking out this afternoon and evening. Will Kohlmeyer there in Oxford at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Obviously, big game there tomorrow, but big other game in Lafayette County tonight between both the big rivals within the county.
No doubt about that, Matt. And yes, I am here inside Vaught Hemingway Stadium, and there's a reason why. Big weekend of athletics here on the Ole Miss campus. We'll talk college football in just a moment, but yes, as you mentioned, a huge game. Oxford and Lafayette, they're renewing this rivalry. And starting tonight, each team has won 26 games, and there's been 2 ties. So something's got to give tonight. And right now, Oxford comes in. They've got a potent offense, averaging way over 400 yards per game. And their catalyst is Drew Dean. What a quarterback he is. You see his numbers passing, but he's also ran for 2 touchdowns. Christian Fields is his favorite target. And Oxford, who will be hosting Tupelo next week, they've got their mind set on the rivalry here tonight. And now Lafayette will try to counter. They got beat by Oxford last year, 45-0. So they're hoping for more luck tonight for the Commodores on their home field. They don't throw it around very much, but they do have 2 really good running backs, as you can see in Pritchard and Vaughn. They each have a couple touchdowns. So Lafayette will try to bounce back from a loss last week to Saltillo. Oxford looked really good, knocking off South Panola. And so this rivalry gets renewed. As I mentioned, it's totally even. But Oxford has won the last 3, 7 of the last 8. Lafayette will try to eliminate that run tonight with a win at home. Now, as I mentioned, we're here inside Vaught Hemingway Stadium, down on the field, in fact. That's where the Rebs will host the Razorbacks tomorrow. What a lineup it will have here in Mississippi. Both of the local teams, the SEC schools, are at home. And we'll start here in Oxford. Ole Miss tomorrow night against Arkansas. And the million-dollar question is, will Austin Simmons play for Ole Miss, their fine quarterback? It's been a question. I was helping out a benefit golf tournament today for the Shine Foundation, and 3 different golfers asked me, is he going to play or not tomorrow? The injury report says he's not injured and that he will play, but we'll see how it all shakes out tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Last year, Ole Miss ambushed Arkansas up in Fayetteville. I'm looking for a much closer game, but I like Ole Miss winning that one. And then, of course, an hour earlier down in Starkville, Mississippi State will entertain Alcorn State, as Mississippi State so hopeful not to have too big of a letdown after that massive win last week against number 12 Arizona State. I think even if they don't have their A game, they'll still be okay with Alcorn State. Don't feel sorry for the Braves. They came up from Lorman, and they'll get their check, and which will be huge for Alcorn State, but Mississippi State will remain undefeated. And then it all starts tomorrow morning. Alabama will host Wisconsin, my hometown Badgers. I'll have a report from there. I'm just hoping it's going to be competitive. It was learned earlier today, Wisconsin's starting quarterback will still be out. And so Wisconsin will have their backup quarterback. And Alabama, boy, they bounced back nicely last week, Matt, in taking care of ULM. So I like Alabama on that one. So Ole Miss, State, and Alabama for my picks this week. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think that Alabama pick is pretty safe. It's usually pretty difficult to pick them off there at home. I think, obviously Mississippi State over Alcorn State and Ole Miss, the hometown team, I think they should be doing well as well. So I think right with all 3 of those SEC teams right off the top.
Yeah, but now keep in mind, Matt, some of the so-called national experts are saying that they're picking Arkansas to upset Ole Miss, but I'm agreeing with you. I think the hometown Rebels, they'll take advantage of this crowd, just like Mississippi State did last week when the cowbells were ringing big time down in Starkville.
Well, certainly we will see tomorrow how it all plays out. Will, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
All right, no problem. We'll see you at 6.
Well, big thanks to our Will Kohlmeyer for giving us that information, and now I'm responsible for giving you the forecast for all those SEC football games. Taking a look out here, we have another home game by Mississippi State out in Starkville, Mississippi. Beautiful conditions, not showing many 90s for our first play, and that's going to continue as we continue into halftime, the final snap. By the time we make it to halftime, you're seeing low 80s, and then by the time you're walking out of the stadium, mid 70s on your way back home. Just got to get through that post-game traffic. Taking a look out here in Oxford, this is another home game for Ole Miss. They are hosting Arkansas, so it will be a pretty big game for them out there. I know they are ready to give it their all. First play around 89 degrees, cooling off towards the upper 70s by halftime, and then you can see y'all are already having cooler conditions by the time y'all are wrapping up, 73 degrees by the time y'all are heading home. And of course for Alabama as well, we are just having home games galore for our SEC football forecast. This is out in Tuscaloosa, showing almost a difference. You're kind of warming up throughout the rest of y'all's game. Of course, this is just because it's a little earlier. Starting off around 84 degrees, and then you will warm up towards around 90 degrees by halftime, and then still sticking around those low 90s for the final snap as well. So still beautiful conditions for our football weather. But taking a look at Futurecast, you can see some of these rain showers really trying to make a push for our area, giving us any chance of rain, because to be honest, I think we've all forgotten what it's looked like with how long it has been since we've seen it. So this is still sticking primarily out west towards the Delta. Most of us in east and north Mississippi will continue to stay dry, and these showers are going to continue to push on through, kind of coming in from the north, pushing on south into the later hours, and then by the time we reach midnight and on, it is clear and it will be beautiful, with especially some rain-cooled air out there in the Delta. So any overnight plans that y'all have, any late plans, should be a go. By the time we're around 6 o'clock, you can see most of that moisture will just be in cloud cover by the time we start our Saturday as well. So, but looking at lows, you can see we're pretty much in the mid 60s across North Mississippi, 65 in the Golden Triangle region, 64 Water Valley, Oxford, 70 in South Haven. So a little bit of a mild start to our day, but that warming trend will continue into our weekend as well. Taking a look at Futurecast, you can see those dry conditions. Any moisture we have is in cloud cover. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, we're almost reverting back to that summer style of rain showers where they kind of just pop up, give you a sprinkle, and then fade on out. Still haven't quite made it to fall yet, and the weather is reminding us with these temperatures and rain chances. There you go. See a shower just pop up and immediately fall. I can even pinpoint it real quick. There we go. Oxford, around 6 o'clock. Just a little tiny bubble. Of course, still fighting an uphill battle with how dry it's been. Those temperatures, that is something that we're going to continue to feel. Pretty much mid 90s for most of our viewing area. You can see 88 out here in Red Bay, so y'all are sitting pretty and pretty much have it the best out of all of us. But take a look at this, 96 in Greenwood, Belzona, and Greenville. Those heat indices knocking you down just a few degrees. So we're not starting at 96 and shooting up with that humidity and mugginess, showing that cold front that came through last week, still reaping the benefits a little. We just have to experience those warmer temperatures as well. So those heat indices not really elevating as we continue into the weekend and our Saturday and Sunday. Taking a look back at our Futurecast, we are seeing those dry conditions, that rainfall pretty much just outside of Mississippi, across the Mississippi River into Arkansas. And we don't really see much cloud cover either. We are just that dry as we continue into the Saturday night and early parts of our Sunday morning. There we go again, some cloud cover really trying to push back in, but not affecting us much. These will be those high, taller clouds in the atmosphere. And we are seeing mostly sunny skies, maybe partly cloudy for our Sunday, but pretty much just a beautiful weekend forecast that continues all day long. I feel like I shouldn't have even put this many pause points on because there's not much to talk about. We are just that dry and clear for our Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures for our Sunday, still following the same trend, kind of a slight warming trend. We're staying pretty consistent in those mid 90s, 94 in Vernon, Columbus, 93 in Starkville, and there we go, 96 in Greenwood and Greenville. Those heat indices still helping us out just a little bit. We're staying pretty much where those actual temperatures are, if not maybe a degree or two, maybe 3 cooler than what those actual temperatures are coming in. So thankful that mugginess and humidity not part of our forecast. But taking a look at the 7-day forecast, we are almost having a copy and paste as we continue into our weekend and eventually work week. 92 for our Saturday, and you can see we're warming up just a little bit. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where we're in the mid 90s, but Thursday, there we go. There is a chance of rain. This will be something that we will continue to monitor, especially with models showing what could happen for our Thursday, but that will be our most meaningful chance of rainfall. But until then, we got to get through these warmer conditions, drier conditions before we can reap the benefits of that rainfall. Now, of course, you can continue seeing all these values updated here with the Mississippi Live Weather app. We appreciate all the updates and y'all tuning in. We cannot do this without y'all. I'm so appreciative of all the feedback that we've gotten because we want to make the app better for y'all and allow whatever y'all really need to see in that app. Now, of course, we will be live tonight, 6 and 10, because it is still Friday, so not back to my usual weekend shows only at 6 and 10. So I will continue monitoring all those rain chances, hopeful to see maybe some sprinkles as we continue on into the afternoon and evening, but definitely want those to hold off for our football games. We'll be live back here tonight at 6. Y'all go out, enjoy the rest of y'all's evening, and I'll see y'all then.
Up here's where your biggest risks hide: leaks, mold, and expensive damage. Most commercial roofs fail slowly until they fail big. Why rip it off when you can restore it? Our silicone coatings stop leaks, prevent mold, and extend your roof life without the high replacement cost. It's a 30-year watertight roof, energy efficient, leak-free, and half the cost of replacement. And it's backed by GE's manufacturer warranties. Facility managers love this. No disruption, no tear off, and long-term protection for your property. Trust Absolute Restoration for your commercial roof.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.